just for fun.
Down here.
Yeah, still one closest to your ball.
How are you? All right, so welcome everybody. Happy New Year. Hope you guys all had a good holiday session. It's great to see you all here. Stan won't be joining us today. He's feeling ill. We do have some visitors that probably be addressing the meeting today, but I want to get started. And first of all, we'll go with the agenda. You guys all have the agenda in front of you? Let me get you. I'm sorry. Thank you. Yeah, we're having so much fun talking. We didn't get down to business here. Okay, so we'll call into order and we're going to do a roll call. So roll call, please.
Member Zenz.
Here.
Member Taylor.
Here.
Member Adams Hewitt.
Here.
Member Horowitz.
Here.
Member Fry.
Here.
And Chair McCurvey.
Here. Thank you very much, Fernando. So this is the time we have oral communications for this on the record meeting. This is the opportunity to address the Downtown Porterville Committee on any scheduled matter unless additional time is authorized by the committee. All commentary shall be limited to 3 minutes per individual and no more than 15 minutes total. Is there anybody that wishes to address the committee?
Excuse the time to make much talk about.
We have some visitors here, so if we have anybody that wants to address the committee.
Good morning.
Morning.
My name is Bill Duran. This is Rolo. We are planning to have a car show on Main Street.
My name is Rolando Ornella. They call me Rolo. So in May, we'll show you a flyer. May 16th, plan on having a car show down Main Street, Porterville. It's been a while since the city of Porterville's had a legit car show. We have a lot of parking lot shows, but nothing legit like the one we want to throw. It's an opportunity to kind of grow the lowrider community back out, not only lowrider, but motorcycles, hot rods and all that. Opportunity to shine down Main Street again, to grow Main Street back. Our main goal is to bring business uplifting, right? So have car shows and have all businesses down Porterville open at the same time, sell whatever you want to sell as a business and just grow, right? I love Porterville. I've been here since I was 10 years old. I'm 45 now. Actually, I was 8 when I moved to Porterville. My wife and I love driving down Main Street at night because of the lights. I mean, there's nobody out there and we love it, right? Go get some ice cream and then drive home. I own a 53 Bel Air. Joe has a 64 Impala. We love doing family stuff like that. So I know a long time ago, the stigma with the lowrider community is all bad, but it's not with our organization. Joe's a business owner. Myself, I work for the Department of Corrections. Been there for over 12 years as correctional lieutenant. So we have firefighters and all that doing that. Opportunity for the city of Porterville to be part of this is, we love it. We love Porterville. We're not leaving anytime soon. We like to grow, within the community and grow the community. There's a lot of people with lowriders and cars or any type of beautiful car that you have. We want to get it out there. We're doing prizes, raffles, giving the downtown the opportunity to open up their business to the people coming. We're expecting hopefully 1,500 to 2,000 people to 2,000 people will walk through Main Street. I understand that the fair is going on at the same time. It's okay because they can go back and forth, come to the car show. We'll have beautiful cars out there, live entertainment, a little bit of vendors, downtown businesses, hopefully if we can get everybody involved. And, opportunity, like I said, to put something in front of your business, get people to come. I'll go definitely get a chicken burger from the vault, and all that good stuff. So any questions?
So many times that I've been to Main Street car shows that it pretty much shut down the businesses. And we don't want that. We want to have them open a part of it, put vendors outside of their place, them to have the vendors, them to have the money instead of going in other people's pockets. When you get outside vendors, it kind of throws off the local businesses, and that's not our goal. Our goal is to raise up Porterville Main Street. So.
Well, I think that's awesome. We used to have a car show back in the 90s. We had a big car show that was great downtown, and then there was some beef between the Rolling Relics and the Chamber of Commerce, and it ended, and they moved out to the park, which disappointed me because I love events like this. I don't do a tremendous amount of business, quite honestly, on those days, but I call it my seed planting days because what happens is all the traffic you guys bring in, Then they see I'm open and they come and they want their ring cleaned. Well, while I'm cleaning the ring, the wife sees another piece of jewelry she likes, tells her husband. I show it to him, and then 2 months later, he calls me and like, Dave, it's my anniversary next week. Remember that ring my wife was looking at? Do you still have it? Blah. And so I do business off, we do business off you guys, stuff like that. So it is beneficial to downtown.
Thank you, David, for that commentary. It's important to the conversation. This is the point where we're having everybody address the committee. Appreciate that feedback. Is there any other comments or anyone else would like to address the committee?
Let me say a little bit. The objective of the car show that Joe's putting together, it's already in the making. All the paperwork has been submitted to the city for review. We're waiting for their approval. It's gonna take be on the agenda probably in February sometime. But our main objective is to bring the people back to the Main Street Porterville. And one of our main focus is make sure that they utilize your businesses, your services you've got to offer. Excellent idea you about cleaning the rings and people traveling to the street. But Larissa, she's got the furniture place, you can put stuff out there so people can see it and invite them into your store.
I have a question about being a vendor out in front of my store.
No, it
Do we-
won't happen.
Do I apply to you? No, me.
Oh,
Do I
yes.
apply to you or do I apply to the city for a permit?
On the vendor part, excuse me, my name is Jessica. I'm a part of La Gente. We're backing this to going on and we're doing it for you guys, Main Street. We want you guys to put anything you want, you're in. You don't need to do nothing. We want you to put your own business stand, your own stand.
You have to
And we're gonna get on the city, we're
Policy.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves. We have to get approval.
Information.
We can get approval from the city. But what he's trying to say is that, I know. What we're trying to say is that you're welcome to participate in the event and do whatever the city thinks that you can do.
Okay.
You're not gonna go out there and put 1,000 balloons flying in. You have to talk to the city members anyway, and it'll have to get their approval. And also with we want beer gardens out there. And we have to get permission from the city that we can do that, so that way, places like the Palace, the Vault, the Cellar, can put beer gardens out there and sell beer. I don't know if that's gonna be possible.
Yeah, we
We're
just
gonna
can't
have to
pack up
discuss it with
and-
the city.
We just can't pack up and move our beer outside. We gotta go get our own licenses and everything else too, so.
Is that costly? Because I called the ABC and,
It takes from our businesses.
and they told me that you could do it. You couldn't bring the beer out if you already have a beer license, but you'd have to get another permit for a 1-day permit. And if it's feasible and you guys can afford it and you think it's gonna make some money for you, I will certainly consider it.
How far do you think you're running this? Is it Olive to Morton?
Yes.
Olive to
thinking about-
Putnam
yes.
or
All the way from Olive to Morton.
all the way? to-
Yeah, and you mentioned about the vendors, we're not gonna put any food trucks in front of the businesses because we want the businesses to open up for the public
And make money.
and make money off them. So we're gonna put the vendors and we're not gonna have that many vendors. The vendors we're talking about having is just the people that sell jewelry, t-shirts, things of that nature related to the car show.
Similar to the Irish Festival then?
That's something like that. Yeah,
something like that, but we want you guys to be a priority. You guys to be a priority. David, like I said, the chocolate guy. I will call him the chocolate guy, forgive me that. But where he can put his stand, and we're hoping that the city will allow you guys to do that for that day, because the roads, we're planning to have it closed anyway for that day, for that car show. So I don't see why there wouldn't be a problem. You guys already own the business there. We want you guys involved. We want the Vault to sell alcohol. We don't want to bring nobody else. We want them to do it. We want the Mecca to do it. We want them, everybody downtown to be involved. And if you, and other businesses who don't have anything, if they want to put a stand in front of their store, I would like it if the city would allow that for you guys to do that. I don't see a reason why, because if Lindsay can do it, I don't know why we can't do it. And Lindsay, they let them walk with alcohol up and down their Main Street. Like I said, these are regulations that need to be changed to bring the people back to Main Street. I don't want to go to Target. I want to go there. I want to be able to hang out there. I don't want to go to buy sell it. Hey, we can do it here. We can have chairs outside the business. But the city is making it so hard for you guys to do that. And it's all about, we want you guys involved. We want you guys, hey, you know what? I want to put a stand out there. I want to sell my stuff. You guys got priority, and whatever doesn't want to get involved, then we're going to fill in the void, wood vendors away from you guys, but put a little bit here, but we want you guys, or we want Port Richards to put a little stand out where they can sell pizza and also go in their places. Okay, and another thing, something to think about for some of you guys like the Vault and all that, they will have cars in front of your businesses. So like the Vault, if I talked to some of the guys, they said, hey, well, since my car's in front of their business, you think that they can maybe
reserve a place for me, you know, we'll pay for it, and where our car club will go in there and eat and drink, and then we have a place to go in. You know, some businesses don't have that, but some businesses do may offer that. And at the same time, leave space for everybody else to walk down and go inside your store. But you at the same time make money off all those cars in front of you, because they're gonna be buying and eating, all their family's gonna be there with them, purchasing out of your business. Just something to think about, you know, someday, well, you know, hey,
Our goal is to help the businesses, not
Yeah.
hurt them. That's the whole goal.
That's a main objective.
How long does the car show go? It's gonna go till 4. We have it till 5 because we want to clean up. You know, it's only gonna be from 12 to 4. Not a long day, not all night. It's just, you know, because we gotta be responsible, clean everything up and make
We do
it.
have roll-in at 10
Yes,
o'clock,
yes.
so cars will start at 10 o'clock rolling in to set up their displays. I mean, since we are offering a cash prize, you're gonna have cars out there with mirrors lifted up on stands with all the chrome blinging and, you know, you said Chocolate Man, that's where I'm parking my car. You know what I mean? So it takes a lot of setup. I know my car's not show quality, but it does take me about an hour to get it all cleaned up, set up, you know, with my display. So people that have the, you know, the cars that are all done up, they'll be out there for a couple hours, setting it up, getting it all cleaned up. And, you know, it does for the lowrider community, it does take an all day. It's an all day thing for us because we start early in the morning cleaning up, getting set up. Then we're there. We'll do award ceremony starting about 3:45. Once the awards are out, cars will start rolling out. You know, at that time we'll promote, hey, cruise down Olive. You know what I mean? Continue the business going, go to the fair, do something. You know, most of the time people will linger, but they're still gonna be eating and all that. So
Question on the awards presentation, are you thinking of having that at the park right here in the gazebo and
Yes.
just do
Yeah.
the awards?
we'll centralize everything, so everything's centralized. Our goal is probably to start from Putnam out. You know, we don't wanna, you know, start from one side of Main Street and not fill it, so we'll fill outward to get everybody the opportunity, award ceremony and all that. Another thing we can offer too, if the business would like to get part of the award ceremony, you know, this trophy is presented by, you know, or was dedicated by the vault. You got, and they chose, we'll let you choose the vehicle of your choice. This is their choice. You know, here's a award or a, you know, a plaque with their name on it, plus the whatever we're giving it, best of 50s, because when it comes to lowriders, there's so many classes, right? 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s of the car. Best of show, best G body, best lowrider, custom, hot rod, bike. You know, so those are all different opportunities for the business of Porterville to say, you know, David Hordes is donating this trophy for best, you know, whatever car you like. You like bombs or you like 50 Chevelle or something, you know. So we're presenting this on behalf of him. This is his choice, you know, congratulations, you know.
Well, that's a great presentation. Thank you, guys. So I know we've used up 15 minutes. That's 3-minute sheets. So you guys need anything else?
Nope, that's all I wanted to say.
Okay.
Thank you.
guys
I
for coming
think
in.
it's an awesome idea.
Thank you guys for your time, okay?
Jesse, good to see you.
You'll see us around.
I went to go see you, but you weren't there.
Nice to meet you.
Maybe I'll get with you, maybe you can come up. Ice cream, you're gonna feel it. We'll do all.
That's definitely,
You have a good
going away right now.
You need to have that emblem made up in gold to wear
I
around
do.
your neck.
He's always selling.
I do need to read.
Thanks again.
We can do that for you.
Good to have you here.
Believe it or not, we actually do that on location.
Yeah.
I do complete everything, so.
So if I win a prize, I get a free dip.
Oh, yeah.
Take care of yourself. Bye.
Thanks, you guys. Okay, great. That's a nice treat. I didn't expect that this morning. We can talk about that when we get down here a little bit further. I think it's important that we get this community type engagement. And it's really nice to see folks coming in with these ideas. Obviously, they've been watching our meetings as we've been talking about this. And so it's generating some buzz. While we're on the record here, people are watching our meetings and this is a great offshoot and the kind of thing that we'd like to get out of our committee. So I'm really appreciative of that. Do you guys have any comments before we move on with what was presented?
No, he came down to the jewelry store the other day and talked to me, and I thought everything he had to tell me was great. One of the reasons I moved to this town was back in the 80s. You know, they used to line November, like I talk about, they lined Main Street, the ladies did, with all their homemade goods and their handmade stuff for Christmas sales, you know. It was a very family atmosphere, and downtown was the hub. And I love that about it. We got away from that, unfortunately, with the last management that was here in town. They didn't like downtown having things going on. So I'm glad we're getting back to that. We need
Okay.
to. It's
I think you did.
great. It's great for us merchants.
I'd like to see what he talked about, the being able to walk up and down the street with a beer. I mean, instead of having a set location in one spot, you know, because then they can just walk into my place, get a drink and still walk around, and look at all the cars and everything and participate in everything else that's going on. When you alienate it just to one spot.
Okay, so this is coming out now from the comments and I see city manager here making some notes so he can find some
Yeah,
answers.
because I'm curious as to
We're not gonna sit in
why
one
they
place
can
and
do that in
everyone wants to
Lindsay,
be out.
they can't.
Right, and
here.
putting a beer garden out.
We'll get it to the
Gotta
bottom. I
be
believe it's
like that.
driven out of the police
Yeah, that's
department.
right.
They just need to sign off on it. Like it, and from the city's perspective, I personally would like to see the cars off of our parks grass.
Yeah, that's what we talked about in the last meetings because of there's some negative outcomes that come from having them in the park. And so I like it. Good comments. Sam, thank you. Any other comments?
Though I appreciate the fact that they're closing down at 4 o'clock too, because you do have a fair going on and people do like to come out and eat and shop before they.
So
go.
the time is
So
good
the timing
too,
is great
right?
as well. Yes.
Rob, any comments?
No, I'm all for it. I'm gonna call these guys myself.
It's not a pejorative to be called the chocolate man, right?
I have no trouble with that. I get called a lot worse.
Katie, do you have any comments?
I still don't have my question answered. If we want to be vendors in the street, do we still have to follow the city protocol to apply for that? Don't we need a permit to be out front?
From the county, for sure. For when we have that, we would need to follow their.
Is this
their
the
requirements.
sidewalk vendor permit? Like the bread guy?
I don't know if it's necessarily sidewalk vending, but it's more of the, Johnny, you could probably help me out. There's a permit of some sort for events that you're selling food outside of your
You're
restaurant.
talking a food and beverage permit. She's talking about just a regular vendor.
It's
Oh.
gonna be their event, so you'd go through their event organizer.
That was my question.
Yeah, so it's, you'd register through them for vendor stuff.
Spring Festival, we go through the chamber, but I'm a chamber
Yeah.
member, so I didn't know if it was different.
No, it would be through them.
Okay,
And then it gets routed through the different department heads, and if there's any comments, and the department heads make the comments, but that would be going through the event organizer, which is those guys.
thank you.
All right. Thank you, Donnie. Appreciate the answer. Quick answers are good. And then I think we'll have to have a discussion about the alcohol portion because that's something we need some input on. Thank you very much. All right, so we're off and running. Now we got into the oral communications. We're now into scheduled matters. We have to approve the draft minutes from November 20th and consider those draft minutes. Is anybody, let's vote on that. Do we have a vote to approve that? All in favor, say aye. All right. Any opposed? All right, so approval of draft minutes, that's number one. Okay, number two, review and summary of the committee brainstorming priorities. Discussion of review of topics, ideas, concept raves during the committee's 2025 meetings. This is kind of a summary. And I did have Fernando produce, I don't know if he produced one for every member.
Sorry,
I think it's this booklet. We have 5 of these.
just 2.
Okay.
There's downtown parking lots maps.
Yeah, you can pass out both of those if you would, Lori, I'd appreciate it. What I had Fernando do, and this is number 2, is I had him put a summary of all of our meetings, brainstorming, from last year together. So we can use this as foundation. And so and I know I'm putting you guys under the gun here because you haven't seen this yet, and we'll get you some to take home with you. If there's anything that you guys want to talk about as we go into 2025 from the past meetings and our brainstorming, this would be a good time to review that so we can close last year and start moving forward as we laid that foundation. And I'll make sure you guys get one of these to take home so you can have it. And it's really important. I know we did a lot of brainstorming and we had that stuff around, and you can go and watch it on video, but we wanted to have a summary of that so that you can have some time to really digest it and think about it as that's the foundation that we're laying for the downtown committee. So if there are any general observations or potential considerations from 2025, this would be a good time to talk about, where we were so that we can set the tone about where we're going this year. If there are any comments and things that you guys have thought about during the break, this would be a good time to talk about.
Well, I'm still gonna push that handicap thing. Because there was a lot of talk on the internet about it, a lot of bitching about it. And unfortunately, it's justified bitching. We need to do something. Right now, if you're handicapped, we're forcing them to go to the big box stores. Because there's handicap parking in front of there's handicap parking in front of the pet shop. But there's no handicap or van accessible handicap for downtown. My question is this, all the handicap spots are on corners. Is it possible to redo the sidewalk in the corners so that it comes down where we can lower the ramps and wheel people out and then right up onto the sidewalk? Would that be a simple solution? I don't know cost wise any of that. It's just a thought I had in my head. Because we've already got the handicap spaces on the corners. If we just adjust those curves, now people can come and park their vans, lower their van ramps and get the wheelchairs out.
So the main focus of this is not the handicap spot itself, it's that the van accessibility.
Right. It's not because
I would say consider both, and we definitely have heard it loud and clear.
I saw a presentation on this at school, where they had a nice presentation about that.
Yeah, and so we definitely have heard it loud and clear, and we are going to do something about this. What we want to do, so staff is working on designs already for the handicap parking with the ramps. So there would be some concrete work as well as some adjustment to the stalls. But we want to get the parking lot done first. And that's planned for this year, and it'll be done as soon as we're done with the parking lot. Then we're gonna go, we're calling it like phase 3 of Main Street. And then we're gonna start addressing the handicap parking.
I think
We're working on it now.
I think if you look at some of the parking spaces, the lines that are drawn on Main Street now, if you look in front of Subway, where the planter boxes are, those are extra wide already.
Mhm.
And you could put a car and a half in there. So I don't know the regulations for ADA for a ramp or whatever you need for a van accessible. But I think if you looked at those, it wouldn't take much to widen it up a little bit more. And we wouldn't be losing a whole lot more parking.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
all those
right.
planter boxes take up extra space. I mean, they're they're pretty wide.
Yeah.
So it's something to look at.
Okay, so we got an action from the city. They've been listening to our meetings too. They're moving towards a longer term solution, but I'm hearing a short term look.
I don't know.
An opportunity, short term opportunity maybe?
It looks like some white spots.
The staff did identify those parking stalls that were next to or adjacent to the planters, and that's essentially where the handicap parking is going to be designed. We do need to incorporate some concrete improvements.
Okay.
So that there's a clear path of travel
So
for.
they can get the van there, but there's no ramp.
Right.
Okay. So I think it's a great point that you have there. So, and now this is noted and it's on the record.
It's actually being worked on. right
Can
now.
we see a plan later?
Yeah, we'll bring an update.
That, so we can see what you guys are working on and maybe start to put some timelines. I know that solving the big gaping hole in the ground from the fire at the former J.C. Penney's is a top priority, even though the timelines continue to slip a little bit, but that is our top priority right now for Main Street.
I think we need a little more policing down there because the homeless get in there. I had to call the fire department again yesterday because they're stealing the pallets from grocery outlet, taking them back there and lighting fires underneath there. And it's quite often. It says no trespassing and that's a city law.
Yeah, that was another thing I was gonna say. We need to get in the late night hours. Maybe once every hour or so, have them drive down the alleys. I had a break-in again. They can't get into the room where all the jewelry is, so they didn't get anything like that, but they destroyed my doors. They did get 2 pieces of jewelry that were on my back desk. My son had pulled out a $4,000 necklace for the lady that lives out of town. She couldn't get here for it, is what I was told. They unfortunately got that because it was on my back desk. So, but we need, and it was 3 little punks on bikes. So we need to patrol those alleys in the late night hours.
Okay.
I'm gonna look into putting in a door, garage door. I have a carport, and so unfortunately that probably makes me a little bit easier for them because they can be inside that carport area.
What's the name of that place where people live that's near your,
Next to me,
yeah.
you just explain what it's.
Glenwood.
Glenwood.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're a big problem. They have been for years.
Even a request though, as far as a review and summary of the committee business brainstorming, that maybe we table any additional decisions or comments until we all have a chance to review it. and make
I
a
agree. So I just
decision.
wanted to open it up and start those conversations with her top of mind. And then I think, to Katie's motion, I think that without a vote, I think we could all agree on that. Is anybody opposed to that? All right, so we have now a copy and we will take that under consideration. Katie, thank you very much. Good discussion. Let me just summarize it. So, just off the top of our heads, handicap is trending. We want to address it. And also we have some downtown security issues that were a theme through a lot of our meetings that are continuing that we need some emphasis on. We had some break-ins and some damage. We had some fires, issues behind grocery outlet, and we had some belligerent behavior from people that live at the Glenwood. So I think that those things we want to note them because that's our discussion and I just want to get them on the record so that we can address those.
Had to have a conversation. I believe he's the manager of the Glenwood, but he's got one unit up there that they like to open their blinds and stand there naked. And Sunday brunch is not a good night for that. You can see him from up there.
Okay, so we also have
The
the,
manager, Paige is the manager there.
Yeah,
They're
she is.
to one.
Husband? Is that-
No,
Nope.
And not boyfriend. In addition, a question of parking, I don't know, if there's a rule, but in front of my store, their tenants are parked all day. I don't know where they go at night. You can park in front of my store at night, but you cannot park in front of it during the day. And I know who's each one of the cars.
Yeah,
Can we
that's
send
been,
them a letter and request them to park in the back or they
Well,
just get to park?
when they originally, because I was in business when they started the hotel. So originally, the city came to the Downtown Merchants Association, there was agreement that when they put this hotel in, that the people would park in the back parking lot and stay off Main Street. And back then, there was a 2-hour parking limit. So they did stay off Main Street because they didn't want to get tickets. But then when the next city council wanted to get rid of the kid who marked your tires, they wiped out parking limits, so his job wasn't necessary. At that point, that's when the parking issues started. And some of us have had major issues.
So I keep pushing to bring that 2 hours out.
so
Yeah, I would love it too. Yeah, as you guys all know, I actually went to jail over it. Because they park there and they don't care. They get money from the government. They don't have to work. So they could care less about our business.
So just to make a note on it, I actually manage the St. James Apartments across from Don Vito's. And that is funded through a city program. Part of the requirement of that city program and my lease requirements that I have to enforce is my tenants are not allowed to park on Main Street. They have to park in the rear and they are not allowed to use the Main Street entrance. We have to use the back entrance to the building. So the Main Street entrance for the St. James Apartments is an emergency exit only. So I'm not sure why the restrictions are in place for one apartment complex and not in place for another apartment complex.
very good point. And I think it helps us to move this conversation forward. Thank you for getting that on the record. We will take a note of that and do some follow-ups because that's an important, it's already set in stone. We have a history, we have a current.
It's not just the Main Street parking as well, because the side streets as well, like Oak Street in front of the palace, because most of the time they fill up all that too.
Right.
Parking and they sit there, the cars will be there for days.
Yeah.
With expired who has a date, tags on their cars, they're not even legal. They just sit there.
Okay, very good conversation. And that's enough for that issue for today. To Katie's point, we can go in and look and deep dive on these other things and then come back with some other ideas for a future. I didn't want to start more brainstorming until we reconnoitered on the brainstorming that we've already done, and we've already tackled some issues, and we already have some issues in front of us today. Thank you very much. Great discussion. All right, so we have a review. I asked to have a review and a summary of city-sponsored events for 2025. And I wanted to just in general talk about those events. I think in 2025, we had a lot of great events. So the major events 2025 are, of course, the ones we all know about, right? We got the Spring Festival, we did Cinco de Mayo, we had the Veterans Day Parade after the road was completed, which was excellent. We had the Christmas parade that was excellent. There was a block party that we're going to talk about in the next item. What I wanted to talk about here is just in general, you know, the city-sponsored events we have to start to have a conversation about how much it costs the city, what the expense is to the city when we have events. So I'm going to talk about this in a very general term. When we have a block party and it's like one block and we shut down the Main Street traffic, the city spends about 2,000 plus on resources to make that happen. Just to keep everybody safe, to make sure there's a patrol, to make sure there's a traffic pattern, all of those things for a small one block is about 2,000 plus. Now, when we do like last year, we did the spring festival, which used to be the Irish Festival.
Right.
And we closed it to half of Main Street, which I think was very productive. It was because half the Main Street was still under construction. That runs about $6,000. So half of Main Street in general, and we're gonna refine that, but I just want everybody to have an idea. When we do events, it is a cost to the city. And then when we do the major events like the parades and like the presentation that was made this morning, when we do the whole area, it's about $10,000. And so we want to make sure that when we do those events that we're getting a bang for the buck and that it's serving the community. And I think that's where I wanted to start this discussion. And I think we're on a good path here. And there's some lessons learned on some of those events, I think, throughout last year. And we'll finish this opening statement with an ask to you guys with this last idea. We promised as a city to help with the outside vendor issues. And we tried to tackle that for the Christmas parade. And we were marginally successful. We were only able to keep them on the move, and it's very difficult to regulate. We've learned some lessons, and we have some more ideas on how to regulate that better so that we don't have people descending on our Main Street when we're having one of these private events. Let's call it a public-private event that's not for outsiders, that we regulate that well so they don't take away from the event. I think that we are marginally successful. We have to continue to work on that, but it was somewhat successful in trying to tackle a difficult problem. So that's where I would leave it. And then I would ask you guys for your input, and let's just go around, everybody get a chance to weigh in. It's a long summary.
I have a question. How do you tackle that? When you find these guys, do you escort them back to their cars or their trucks, or do you put them in timeout till after the parade's over and then they can go home? What happens?
I watched one get escorted back to their car and then they took their thing and went right back. As soon as they weren't being maintained.
Somewhere or
So
something.
they aren't getting ticketed.
Yeah, so what we're working on right now we need to bring some teeth. And that's really the sidewalk vending ordinance that address, number one, we need to generate some revenue to pay ourselves back for the increase in either code enforcement or police enforcement to address this. And then number two, there's a fine if you don't comply, and we just ticket them, and it's got to be an amount that is reasonable, but also it reinforces the deterrent. So we're working on that now. We're hoping to bring that to council soon. Outside of that, it becomes just throwing bodies at it, and with keeping the rest of the participants at the parade safe. Their police has their priorities, and we don't want to shift all of our resources to address. It's a balancing event. We want to keep the public safe, but also address the illegal sidewalk vending. I think we need to bring teeth to the ordinance, enforce that with a penalty. If you're caught, then we write them a ticket and they have to pay. It's 500 or whatever the council decides.
I want to say that the code enforcement, I think, did a pretty good job considering what they were up against. At one point, I seen 2 of your code enforcement walking 10 of them back to their, but like they said, as soon as they walked away, there was no accountability. They turned right back around and went back out. So we're not asking code enforcers, I don't think, can write tickets, but if they had an officer with them, they could issue a citation, which would create revenue for the city to be able to help pay for that. We're not talking bring the whole SWAT team down on hot dog vendors. It's not that important.
So we can't shoot them?
No. But there needs to be accountability for it, because there was quite a few, and it was very frustrating. You could see the frustration on the code enforcers' faces, because as soon as they turned around, they didn't care.
But there were so many.
And I think the teeth in it not only has to apply to, because it's generally probably one company that has hired the individuals. So cite the individual and the company.
That's a good point.
So make it
If
so
we-
these
to the
people
extent
don't
that
want to
we
work
can
for this
find the right-
company.
And it's not only the hot dog and we're using the hot dog vendors, but it's the merchandise. That really needs, I want that revenue going to whoever's putting on the event. And I think the city needs to work with them and help them support getting either driving those merchants to the event organizer and they pay a fee if they want to allow them, but you know, they're coming from LA and other areas and just taking all the revenue from the event organizer.
As far as business owners, I don't think we really care if guys walking around pushing a cart selling stuff. We just want to make sure the money goes back to the city of Porterville.
Right.
I don't care if you're selling horns. It has nothing to do with me.
Right.
But are we doing it appropriately? Are they pulling permits? Or, you know, I
Yeah,
have
they
to.
both covering this cost that it's costing the city of Porterville, $10,000 to put on this thing.
Right, and so it kind of ties all that together, right? So whoever's putting on the event is the regulator for those two things. We'll provide the framework, but they have to get permission from the event leader and the sponsor, right? And so I think that that's a really good point. I think they're moving in the right direction.
So that segues into a question then. Is that the reason you ask for a list of vendors when an event gets put on?
Yes,
So with like the car club coming up, they will be required to give a list of all the vendors that'll be authorized to sell wares or push a cart on the street.
Exactly.
I think that with a map would be beneficial for the businesses for us to be able to look at too, to make sure they're not putting, good.
So it's just not
Absolutely.
going in and putting a pop-up up thinking they can pick it.
hold that thought as we get to the next conversation too, because we want to touch on that again. Great point.
I think back to your comments on the cost, there are a lot of city resources invested in to ensure that these community events are done well, not only from the police presence, but we got street department, we've got the sweepers coming out and thing. We throw a lot of staff at quickly cleaning up downtown after a large parade or after a large event, because we don't want it to go on, being dirty for multiple days. We try to throw a lot of resources, and we do throw a lot of resources at it to get Main Street back looking good.
Well, maybe we can get some funds from the state out of the billionaire tax.
All right, thank you for those comments. All right, so this might be a good time to talk about it, and then we'll go into number 4. We'll close the topic here. The city of Porterville received a letter from the Chamber of Commerce last year expressing concern about supporting the Christmas parade in 2026. So we want to make sure that we have this discussion for a moment to say, I know that there are still some discussions that need to happen around that, but would this committee be open to allowing someone else to sponsor or enabling us to sponsor internally, the city to sponsor the Christmas parade without the Chamber of Commerce?
The chamber is not the only sponsor of the Christmas parade, so you have
Correct.
2 other organizations that co-sponsor.
Right, so there's some conversations that need to be had, but I want to ask this question of you all. Do we really care who sponsors the Christmas parade in general as far as the downtown committee? I think the answer is no. But we have someone that does sponsor this, that's expressed their concern about sponsoring it, so that may change. And they were
What is their concern?
financial. It was a financial concern.
I think it's the same as the city's concern about putting on events. It's the same-
Yes,
Same thing. They don't have the resources to do it. The Noon Rotary Club has always subsidized that, and they're just about as big as this group here, so they don't have the funds to do it either. I'm all for a change. I think it's important for all organizations involved to make that change, and that way those guys can use their resources in other areas.
well, we'll have to make some decisions down the road about that, and I just want to enter this topic on this committee as we close out what we just went through. I think it was very successful. That conversation may change because it was such a successful year, but I wanted to introduce the idea that as we go into this year, that we should be open to the idea of maybe some change, as Rob has suggested, going forward, and we would have to, in that case, start talking about that sooner rather than later, because while it's still a long ways away, it's a big event and we want to make sure that it's covered.
We start working on it in the summer for sure.
Christmas, that's in December.
Yes.
I think from the city's perspective, that's the desire that we take on that responsibility. Giving us more time in advance to prepare would be helpful, but we have the resources and we would step up to do it if needed.
Okay.
Is there a way to get an estimate of what this event actually costs?
Well, I don't know personally, and so that might be a question for some of the current sponsors. I know the city's expense of which we estimated to bring to this committee today was about $10,000.
And that was just to close down the
That's
street.
just to
That wasn't-
create it, right?
Yeah, so I'd be interested before we put it before city council to say, well, what does it actually cost to put on this event? What are we asking the city to come up with the coffers, and where is those funds coming from?
Or even another sponsor.
Or
They need
another
to know
sponsor,
as
they need
well.
to know if another sponsor steps forward, this is the anticipated.
You know, there's a lot of volunteers. So it's a good question. We need to find out the answer to that. You don't want to just.
I'm sure if we have to, we can go find other sponsors, such as the casino might be willing to pitch in some money because it's a local event and their people come to the event as well. And they do a lot of help in the community. The casino's been very helpful, I think. We can also check with some other agencies like Seton Farms, Pistachios, people like that. They want to kick in some money to help out. There's ways to get the financing if we need it.
Okay, so I'm hearing the conversation that we should understand better how much it does cost. And that we would open to the idea of a future discussion about what may happen with Christmas.
I'm actually not for any additional sponsors. I want this, I think it should be a community thing, and the second that you throw in the casino or anybody else, I think you're losing a little street cred there by doing that.
By
That's a
sponsoring,
great point. I mean, this
I
is
think
what
this should
Richard's
be-
saying
Yeah,
too,
this is
because
the
if
city
we,
of Porterville, thing. It's not a casino thing. It's not even a chamber or Rotary or anything. It's for everybody.
Yeah, I got a sense.
And there's a way to do it. I think when you're talking about the chamber and those guys, it's just resources. They don't have enough people in their
Right.
office to organize this thing. And you guys have those resources here already. You do this stuff all the time anyway. So I don't see that being an extra, I mean, it is an extra cost.
It's
but
an
you have-
extra cost.
But it's not a huge one because you're already doing that stuff.
well, by sponsoring, I don't mean that they're gonna get involved. I just mean that they're gonna kick in some money to help pay for
Yeah,
the bill.
if they're not, top billing, Santa Claus should be top billing.
I agree.
I just don't think it should be the casino Christmas parade.
well, you know,
I agree with you on that.
Or Stafford's Christmas parade.
because they'll celebrate Hanukkah and Christmas and Halloween and everything, but maybe as a Christmas parade, we put it out to the churches. I mean, this is something that we've been thinking about a lot, you know, as a community, saying, how do we get the churches more involved? What better idea to get them more involved in the Christmas
And the
parade?
Christmas parade.
That's a good point, yeah.
That's just my 2 cents.
Anyway, great discussion, and I like all of these opinions and get them on the record. Anyone else have any comments? All right, let's move to number 4, which is lessons learned from Block Party. I think it was Redo It committee sponsored events from last year. We tabled this a couple of times, and I apologize that we didn't get to it in the previous meeting, so it kind of carried over. And Larissa, I think you had volunteered to go and get some information for us. Could you give us an update?
My volunteer was to talk to Redo It about how we can communicate better between the downtown committee and outside sponsors and that type of thing. My thought about the block party was that it was a first time event. We learned from it. There were mistakes made that we've learned from and hope to we want to keep it an annual event. And so we learned from that, such as we needed more vendors, probably a second event besides just the dog parade, because afterwards there was just a lull and people didn't have anything really to do. Placement of food vendors, the dogs, because we had animals,
Drink vendors.
drinking vendors, we only had 5. Placement of those were based, it was very difficult. Massey from the Mecca was involved in that greatly. It was very hard because there are many, many rules. You can't have the food by the pets. You have to have a wash station by the porta potties. So by the time we got everything laid out, it was not necessarily to everybody's liking. And so we need to work on that a little bit too.
And I heard that they had asked for, you had to bring your license for your animal too, or you couldn't participate.
Yeah, a
Is that-
lot of customers were talking about that. They're
That,
pretty
well,
upset.
it unfortunately, again, it's a rule. You can't have dogs downtown in a sponsored event and not know that they have their rabies certificate. We had to have all of those on file.
Wow.
I think
So-
their concern, public, was the people that I talked to, was that they didn't know that. You guys didn't advertise that they have to have. it.
Again,
Okay, so that's
learning.
part of the communication
Correct.
issue.
Communications, learning. We'd like to try to come up with something next year that maybe people that showed up, as long as they have those, because what a lot of people think that they could sign up when they showed up. And they couldn't do that. There were still dogs downtown. They just couldn't be a part of the dog parade. Again, Redo It is going to take that into consideration and come up with a better plan. It was a lot of learning experience. But we do plan on continuing to have that event. We feel that it went over well. We had a very good outcome. People showed up that wanted to participate that could not. And so next year we hope it grows and we'll try to learn from that. Make it better.
Thank you. Thank you, Larissa. Appreciate that. I know it's a summary form and we did have some brief conversations about it. So we really would like to learn from everybody, the Redo It committee and anyone else that's had issues. And if there's some lessons learned there that we can learn from what the mistakes or challenges that they made, we will have the same or similar challenges too.
And then it brings to another thing to the table is communication between the city and our group, Redo It. We'd like to form some sort of an easier way to communicate because I get this, I'm on both Redo It and I sit in here. And the people from Redo It say, we do things in here they don't know about. In reverse, the same thing, David just can testify to this. We find out things that are coming about that we knew nothing about it. Like today we have the car show presented to us. We need to get the word out. We need people to know that sooner than later. So again, we had talked about putting up, what's it called? A marquee to help with that. I drove by the other day and saw something on the one on Prospect. I knew nothing, the military banners. I was glad to see that. It'd be nice to have a way for all of us to communicate better.
A community calendar where anybody can submit to have their event on a community calendar. It doesn't have to be a marquee. A long-term goal would be a marquee. I get that they're expensive, but to do a community calendar and where you can just email in, hey, the car show is on agenda for city council to have a car show on such and such day. How do we get that? How do we get the wine hop? Which is coming up. How do we get that on a
Why
community
can't-
calendar?
Okay, so you're talking about having a signage.
Well, not necessarily a signage,
I know, but,
but a long-term signage.
okay. So what's wrong with kind of partnering with the museum on that? They've got that electronic sign out front and it's in a great location. People are gonna see it. That road's used a lot because you're either going down, was it Putnam?
Yeah.
Or D. So there's a lot of traffic in that area and they've already got the sign put up, so there's no expense there. Maybe we could work in a thing where they help us and I would be willing, and I already donate to the museum as it is, because I think it's a great thing for our community. Maybe we could make a deal where we pay them a little advertising fee to run it, whatever we want to advertise, or make a donation to the museum, and then they'll start doing it. I know they run things thanking you for your donations. They run things thanking me for my donations, and it's good PR for our businesses. But the sign's in a great location, and there's already the sign there, so we don't have to go buy one. We don't have to pay.
That's a great idea.
There's no expense or anything, and it would benefit the museum as well. So if we all work together.
That's a fabulous.
Okay, I have a question or a thought. In case you mind while David's talking. We all have one of these. attached to us. Every one of us has one in here right now, I'm sure of it. What if we came up with some sort, I know we have a city app, but what if we came up with some sort of an app or a text feed? For example, politically, I get things every day. I know what's going on. I can get it on my phone. What if, and yesterday, I had an incident in my store. A person on Main Street walking around, being very belligerent, obnoxious. I would love to have had it something I could have, like ring doorbell. I could have put on there and every merchant on Main Street would have known this gentleman is walking around and to keep an eye open for him. Just a thought. I don't know if it's something we could do, but we could all elect, I think the chamber had one where they let you know upcoming events, where you subscribe 25224 to get, and we could all just add to the feed.
Well, and the chamber also had a community calendar for a while. I don't know that it's updated or maintained. But a way to merge the city calendar, or the city has an event calendar that can be possibly shared through a Google. I mean, it's not hard to share a Google Calendar and be able to opt into it. So those types, or even if you don't want to share the calendar for you to be able to put something on it yourself, just the fact that I can log in to the calendar and see and be able to submit an email saying, hey, we're having this event, we're having the
The wine hops on it, the car shows on it, the spring festival's on it.
Yeah, on Facebook, there is a Porterville Facebook page. And they do post stuff on there, which is great, but you're right.
But my husband's not on Facebook.
See, I know, and I get it, because like Joe came into the Joy store the other day to tell me about the
Yeah.
car show, and I'm like, what car show?
Exactly.
So,
So the city is looking into this. If you want to jot down this web address, the product that we're looking at, it's called bewith.io. And it's it's a calendar for city and residents, and it has additional features, and many cities are using technology like this, but you can go to their website and take a look at the product that they offer and that we're evaluating right now.
Okay.
And I agree with Katie. I don't get on social media a whole lot anymore. I don't, like her husband, I don't pay attention to that. A lot of my customers don't either. But if we had a printout of a calendar with events that we could post in our windows so that people could see it for the next month, then we would have an idea.
So I think we do both, right?
I-
We do that, we do this, we talk to each other. We have to saturate the market, but people are not looking it up. There's a lot of information out there. It's like shopping or going to a restaurant and have too many choices.
Mhm.
You know, when you go to In-N-Out Burger, you get a double and fries and that's it. And everybody it's easy. But when you have a wide variety of things, I think people kind of tune out and don't pay attention to it. So if we can saturate the market with the direct to customer calendar, weekly or monthly, we can then facilitate that with the city, and then that can be proliferated on FYI or wherever else.
Everything downtown is planned ahead.
Yes.
You guys gotta get approved, so. you
I
already know.
love this idea.
We already know
of
what's on the
partnering with
calendar.
The museum too, the interim.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
But a lot of slow people like me, I don't sit on my phone all day long, so I don't look at that, and I will miss a post because I won't get on social media for over a week at a time. So it's already gone. You won't see it.
Great idea about the museum, and the council just approved the clock tower at the transit center. It hasn't worked for years, and so they just approved converting that clock tower to a digital message board as well. So
There's a message board coming to the transit center, which is just off Main Street. Not a lot of people drive by there, but that will pick up.
Well, we're trying, right?
No, we're trying.
We have to
every little
improve.
bit helps, but the
We have-
museum one, like I said, the exposure from where it's located would be great. And it could benefit our museum as well.
This is a great conversation as we start the year too, because if we communicate well, a lot of the things that we're doing and our partners are doing and collaborating on will get better communication out there. So I think this is central to a lot of things that we do. So thank you for this good, robust discussion.
Yeah, and I'd like your guys' feedback on that Be With product too, bewith.io.
Go check it out.
Once the council approves civic events too, they go on our homepage on the upcoming events up there, so it'll be up there once council approves it as it's getting closer. That's just the city's homepage. So we keep that as long as it goes through the city council process, the civic event process, like those events go up on that. That's one of the places it goes. But we can work on a consolidated calendar too, like an actual.
Okay, thank you for joining us, Mr. Tree. Okay, excellent discussion. So, good summary from the redo it. I know there was a lot of lessons learned there and we're having a lot of sidebar conversations. So it's good to bring it into our committee, talk about the opportunities and the collaboration that we can do. And also we're seeing some new players here. So, and some new ideas about, how we might approach parades and things of that nature like Christmas. So I appreciate all that good discussion. We communicate it well. And we know some people are watching what we're talking about each time we have one of these meetings too, so they can hear this robust discussion. We'll continue to build on this idea of downtown being a destination and trying to lift up our businesses and lift up our community spirit all at the same time and take it to the next level. Thank you guys for that. So we have one more item and then we're going to other matters. And we already touched on this at the beginning, so this one will be quick. The discussion on downtown parking lot regulations. I put this out for you guys. You can take this home. I think you guys have a copy of this. These are the parking lots that are behind Main Street. I know we had done some discussions about this, and so I wanted to highlight this for you guys so we have a good visual. These are the parking lots. So as we go into talking about more detail about how we would designate our parking beyond the discussions we had today, this needs to fold into our directives on how we park and our guidance. And I want to bring this up because I believe, and I think this came from you, Rob, that we wanted to start to communicate to people to try to get people to start changing their behavior in advance of the changes that we're going to make. Didn't we talk about that?
We sort of talked a little bit about, maybe providing a notice to vendors or going around and talking to downtown merchants about, having their employees parking on the back parkings and stuff or side streets. I mentioned to somebody just yesterday about it, that happened to used to work for Porterville, which I know was a big thorn for Sam. They actually are supposed to park off Main Street. It's just their employer doesn't enforce it. So, but they do have a thing within their employee handbook or whatever that does say they're supposed to park in the back parking lots, or at least they used to.
Regulating it is always a challenge, but do we put anything out or is it just a discussion?
It's just a discussion. We didn't put anything out.
Yeah,
I don't know that
requested.
I'm on board with fining people for coming downtown. Our whole idea is to bring business downtown. The people I've talked to and have watched this said, are you kidding me? You want me to come downtown and now you're gonna find me when I park? Why would I come downtown then? I'll just go to Walmart. I'll just go to Target. So to do the
They don't come downtown already, the people that are.
What do you mean about finding?
well, if we put 2 hour parking and then we fine them, or if we put parking meters in.
I would love the 2 hour parking again, and I'll tell you what happens if they get fined for shopping too long. This is the way I dealt with it in the past. In fact, I paid probably 50 parking tickets. I didn't care if you were shopping in my store. You could be shopping at another business, but if you got a ticket for shopping too long in downtown Porterville, for which Joey paid the parking ticket.
So what is the benefit of having the parking on the?
To keep the people that aren't shopping downtown from spending their time there. The cars at front of the Glenwood Hotel that are staying there for days.
Right.
We can ticket them. I'm not gonna pay their tickets. And they're not gonna wanna get tickets because they don't wanna have to pay them. So we've got to do.
If you take that back to their landlord, the landlord can evict them.
Yeah, there's connections here.
Right.
Now, I don't know if we'll have a mechanism for enforcement to get to where David is talking about, because that used to have an enforcement mechanism and that is problematic. Because we want to make sure that we can do the enforcement without the enforcement costing more than the.
We have 2 hour parking behind the vault now that the city put in, but Family Healthcare fills it up all day long. They put their employees park there. There's nobody watches it. There is a sign there saying 2 hour parking.
Okay.
Unfortunately, the community's perception of 2 hour parking within tickets is not favorable, because I'm getting the same slack. They're not liking that. I understand what you're saying. We have to promote to our customers, if you come downtown, I'll pay your part.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's fair to punish the customers for the bad doers that are residing downtown.
Well,
I think need to change the ordinance for the ones that are.
What can you do downtown for more than 2 hours?
You can spend that much time.
I
on
can
it.
eat.
We can
I sit in
also,
Sam's restaurant for 4 hours.
and you can also,
I'm gonna.
but there's ways of.
Drink.
Parking back.
But there's ways around that as well, like in the bigger cities, you can get your validation from the
Right.
businesses showing that you were doing this.
That's true.
So if they get a ticket, but they get it validated from a merchant that they were shopping, we put a stamp on that ticket and they can send that ticket in with no payment. So there's ways around it,
That's true.
but we've got to have some sort of teeth or the people that we're trying to stop aren't gonna stop because they don't care. It's
And
not,
it goes back to cooperation by every vendor
Correct.
on Main Street,
all the
not
merchants,
just 5.
correct.
And that's really our root problem.
Because I also have a problem.
I was gonna say the root problem isn't the merchants. The root problem is either the employees and then the merchants not enforcing.
Yeah,
for
I
their
have a
employees.
problem on my block and you probably have had this issue too with, it's gonna sound like with another jewelry store. They wanna come park down in front of my store and then walk down to theirs, because they don't wanna park in the back and walk around. And I've had several discussions with them, but they don't care. They're not based out of Porterville. They're a small private chain and they can care
Yours
less.
or they'll park in front of mine. They'll leave their car there all day long.
Yeah, they don't
They
care.
don't care.
So there's gotta be some way to stop it. I've had discussions with the owners of the other business and they really don't give a damn.
And the 2-hour parking is limited as well. It's during business hours, normal business operation. So if you have it from 8 o'clock in the morning till 5 PM, that just eliminates them from being able to park there. But at nighttime, stuff like that, it's not an issue. It's not enforced. They can park wherever they want, however long they want. But during the day, so if the hotel people want to park out front, they park out front, but at nighttime. But during the day, they get a ticket if they leave their car there all day long. So it's just an enforcement for that. I talk to my customers about it all the time too, and they're like, I wish you guys would hurry up and get 2-hour parking, because there is no parking to be able to come in and eat. Most people are not at my place for more than.
Well, I
2
hear
hours.
every day, I couldn't park.
I'm
couldn't
all
Because there's no
for it.
parking. That's why we want the 2-hour
Well,
parking.
yeah, but with that 2-hour thing, then that's gonna open up a lot of those spaces that are being taken by people from the Glenwood or other employees of businesses. Cause I have that too, like right across the street from me, especially there's a hair place across the street from me. And the people that run it wanna park right in front of their hairdresser place. So,
That's every hairdresser on Main Street, I think.
Well,
There's a
I
lot.
think, but a part of the public perception also has to be, you will walk 600 feet in a Target parking lot, but you won't walk 600 feet downtown Main Street. It's a perception. It's a way of presenting it. Look, if you go to any mall and you park out in a parking stall at a mall, you'll walk how far to get into the mall?
I agree on that, but.
But
Well, you have all
Walk,
these places to
walk.
park for free.
But I think it's beneficial to have a city official go to the businesses, show them this map, show them, here's where your building is, here's your closest parking lot. We would appreciate if you guys had all of your employees park in that parking lot.
Even if we don't get to the enforcement mechanism in the short term, maybe we get there in the long term, we should have a campaign like this.
It needs to
And
be
Rob's right,
communication.
because we gotta get people thinking differently before you bring the enforcement anyway.
We have
Because
a
that'll
new-
ease everybody into
We
it.
have
I
a new
think peer
company.
pressure could work if everybody does it.
We have a new company by the front of the palace. I mean, it's got 25 sales employees and they all come for meetings. They're not there all day long, but they go in there, they have their meetings. But while they're there in that meetings, they take up every parking spot you can find. The uniform shop ain't got no parking, Subway ain't got no parking, I ain't got no parking. And like I said, they're not there all day long, but they are there. They fill everything up. And it's just a matter of communication, just to let them know that, hey, we appreciate you being on Main Street and opening a business up, but can you have all your people park in the parking lot? Because there is parking directly behind it.
Okay, this is a great discussion. I'm hearing is mostly in favor of enforcement, but I'm hearing we're all in favor of the peer pressure. So we should start on that and all look at bringing
Well,
some stuff back to the
I
community.
think you're gonna have to make your parking lot safer. If you're gonna expect young ladies to park in the off streets, I am sorry, I am not parking back behind my building. One, I don't have a parking spot behind my building. So that means I'm parking either on Second Street or behind Bank of Sierra. That is not well lit enough for a young lady, especially with a known offender walking the streets.
I am now locking my back door when my delivery guy is leaving. I'm no longer going back there by myself. So that is definitely an issue.
You're right, it is an issue, because you shouldn't have to.
We didn't have to, I mean, but it's not safe. And my girls are young. Rob has a whole handful of young girls. Am I gonna escort them out to their cars at night? Cause we have to walk through an alley. And not know if they're hiding behind trash bins. I walked out, there's a guy hiding behind a trash bin. I don't know if he's gonna be attacking or not. And Subway parking lot is not well lit. And I'm not supposed to park in the Subway parking lot. That's a private property. So where do you suggest we tell these employees to park that is safe? Because the lighting is not the best. The element on the street's not the best. We have a belligerent individual wandering around
Walking around
yesterday
with a weapon in his hand.
and threatening people. I have a problem with the parking thing until we get the other solutions in place.
I agree. And I think we all agree on that. And we started that in our brainstorming session. So here we are back to that, and you guys have this here. That's going to be an ongoing conversation. You guys have this for a reference. We have to get our security, and we have to start the peer pressure, and then hopefully we can get to an enforcement mechanism. So I'm going to summarize everything we just said. I think we're all in agreement with that. Is anybody in disagreement with that statement?
We just need a comprehensive plan on how to go about this.
Right.
Very good.
One more thing with the homeless, I don't mean to harp on it, but I don't think it's a homeless issue. It's a repeat offender issue. That's my problem. I was a guy who broke 7 windows on Main Street within 1 week.
Yeah.
And he's back out now.
Right.
He's back out now. So, you know, he's a repeat offender. The guy that keeps setting fires next to my building with pallets. He's there every day. The police have already arrested him several times for it. Back again yesterday. It's not so much to be homeless and be down on your luck. It's just to be a repeat offender and a criminal. But we're not.
It's a very salient point. I understand because of the laxness of the way our law and order is across the state.
We've all been down on our luck before, but you don't keep doing the thing. There's no wrong.
Okay, very good points. I would like to go to other matters now, and I'll start with a couple of things. And other matters is a chance for all of us to weigh in and bring some new business to talk about what's on your mind or how you feel or any of those things. So we're reached the end of the meeting now, and I just want to say, I saw something on the internet, and I'm not on there a lot on Facebook, but someone sent me a really nice moment around Christmas where there was a bunch of people singing in front of the chocolate factory over there, singing Christmas carols, and it was very heartwarming. And it was really important for me to see that. And I know we talked about it, and I just wanted to say thank you, Rob. I don't know about you guys, but I thought that was refreshing. I thought it was uplifting, and I think that we should do more things like that. And I wanted to come in and say thank you.
Hopefully they made their way.
They did, actually, I gotta tell you guys this. They actually sang a Hanukkah song for me. It was awesome. And it was in Spanish.
Even better.
Yeah, it was pretty,
They covered everything.
They did. It was pretty awesome, actually. The kids did a great job with the song. So it was nice for me. I don't normally hear Hanukkah songs in Porterville. So, you know, it was pretty cool. So I gave out candy canes. So
Look at that. Dave had community spirit.
I
about
did.
Christmas.
No, I
Amazing.
It was a very great event.
it was.
Fantastic. I enjoyed it. I went down, I videoed it.
Oh, good.
I took your Santa and posted your Santa, and then they came down and sang in front of my business.
Good.
And then I think I sent it to Larissa and said, hey, look at this.
They're coming, so they came down to my business. I videotaped and added to Facebook also. To add to my experience, at the end, I support them when the kids come to me. They each came, including the director, and thanked me for their support, which was very heartwarming. It was great to know that each one of those kids knew and they appreciated it.
That's outstanding. So I love that we did that and hearing all this great
It was
conversation.
beautiful.
No, it was a good night.
It was
Good.
very.
It really
It was
was.
good for us too, that the store did well that night. I don't think those night, they were Fridays, right? Not Thursdays. That we stayed open a little later.
Right.
Yeah. The first couple weren't very good, but the third one was good.
I think it was a matter of getting it out, so
I
next
don't think
year,
anybody knew.
I think next year it'll be better because we're gonna get more publicity about it in advance. And I think it'll be a lot better next year. But yeah, that one Friday with the carolers and all, that was awesome.
I tried to get them the week before, that was their community concert night. So none of them, there weren't any choirs available.
It's a bright spot. So thanks. I know we talked about it in our committee when we met last to try to get that done, and well, you delivered. Thank you, Rob. Thank you for all the great experience. I saw that the mayor did a special award for Larissa as the cheermeister,
He did.
which that was a lot of
You
fun.
recognize my windows. Thank you for that.
Yeah, that was very nice. And
Which is funny, because I had come back from Sonora and told Marisa, I said, we really need to start a window decorating contest for next year. And the following week, she does these amazing windows. I said, never mind, nobody can compete with
They're
you.
not gonna
I have
beat
the
you.
perfect window.
You do, and I love that. I love that. That's why I'm so glad you're on our block.
Yeah, stunning windows.
Well deserved. You did a great
Thank
job
you.
with that. And I also want to share one more thing, and then we'll go around and let you guys talk. We had our Heritage Committee meeting yesterday, and we had initially wanted to go out with some docent walks with the museum starting this month in January to go and do some teaching for the kids and do some Saturday events for the flags for the 250th. That's probably going to happen in late February, early March. They're going to wait till the weather's a little bit better. They do have a schedule coming together, and they'd have docents coming together, but it's not coming together exactly as the original plan. But I want to give you guys that update, and I'm hopeful, and I'll plant the seed with you guys that, like with Christmas, that when we start including in the museum, and there's a lot of synergy with the museum and downtown, that maybe we can have some synergy with the 250th and having the kids come down. They'll probably come down on Fridays. They'll have field trips on Fridays if we can get some schools to participate. And they'll have some Saturday events that'll culminate in the park, and they may have some reenactors, and they'll definitely be teaching American history and Porterville, those landmarks we talked about, Porterville landmarks. So if you guys can think of some things where businesses downtown can collaborate on that would be open-ended. Whatever you guys want to do, if it's a decorating contest, or I think there was some talk about having some sort of a coin that you can use to barter with downtown for something. Those are all great ideas. We'll leave that to you guys, and I'll just finish my other matters with that as an invitation.
When will that take place?
Well, we're going to celebrate all year in March. They're putting the dates together late February and March. So it'll be like February, March, April. They'll have Fridays and Saturdays that they'll be downtown. And there'll be some information coming soon. In the next meeting, they'll finalize the dates.
Maybe the wooden nickel thing would be a good time to bring that back.
I love that idea. So if you guys have any interest in that, I'm willing to help.
I found a bunch in 1961 from the celebration. Matt had them in his office upstairs in a desk.
Every now and then you see one.
Yeah, I found about 25 of them.
That's cool.
So, yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. No, Porterville, I mean, I moved here because it was a family type of an atmosphere. And it changed away from the all-American city that we had won the award for. And we need to get back to that. I like everything that's happening. I like the car show. We need more events like that. I get that it costs money to put those events on, but well, we can figure out some way, hopefully, to bring in extra funding to do that.
We do need to, figure out a way. I saw a post on Facebook, not that I'm on there a lot, but there was a gentleman that had posted something about downtown not being, bringing back the events downtown and not having some regulations. I think we've got to figure out a way to also, when we start cross-promoting our events, that we figure out a way to cross-promote the events through other means too. I kept that post. I wanted to share it with everybody, to say, look, this is not what we need to be having blasted on Facebook. We are attempting to bring business downtown. Maybe invite him to try and redo it. Or something that, says, hey, if you've got great ideas, let's bring him in and have him sit on a meeting for 3 minutes or something. And maybe 3 minutes needs to be.
Talk is cheap.
Talk is
It's even
cheap.
cheaper
3
on
minutes
social media.
It's awful short, but we could use some exceptions. Maybe they can, if they notify us in advance, we can.
You also don't want to feed the bears. If someone's just out there complaining, let them complain.
True.
Cause I do notice a lot of that. Just complaining.
I think we all.
First, they were complaining that we didn't have a library. Now that they've got the thing for the library, they're complaining about where the library is gonna be. And who knows, and none of them have driven down Henderson to see the Heritage Center that's being built. So
Right by every day.
I see it, and it's coming along great. But it was just, I thought it was ridiculous that they're arguing over the library. They want this $40 million library, when you got the Heritage Center being built that does a lot of the things they want to add to the library. So it's like double goodies.
But it's always good to correct the record, right? Hey, don't be such a complainer, get involved. Fine, just, that's all you really need to see. You're always gonna have them.
And I posted that to a guy who was making some negative comments. He said, instead of the negative comments, why don't you get involved and do something to correct it?
Well, here's a business idea for everybody that wants to open a business. We have empty buildings on Main Street. We have 0 gift shops on Main Street.
No gift shops.
The last one closed down.
Yeah, half of one. I have a
For one, Country Pleasures is gone, Special Occasions is gone. We don't have knick-knack shops to buy stuff to be able to walk around and shop, to be able to go get a coffee and walk around.
And you're right, we need
We
to.
don't have gift stores. You don't have that foot traffic. And that's what gift,
I understand we're getting a new jewelry store.
right next to you.
Really?
It's okay, I'm getting a restaurant right next to me.
Hey, you know what? My opinion on that is they're just gonna bring me more traffic because they can't do what I do, so I'm kind of.
Well, that's a good point. Yeah, business drives business. I love this observation, and if we have any others, I'm gonna put it out there. We do need a gift shop on Porterville, and Country Pleasures filled that niche, and now they're gone. And so hopefully someone will fill that gap, and maybe more than one. Because that would be great for being a destination. So great comments.
You would work.
And more restaurants downtown is good too, because that brings
No,
people.
bad idea.
But maybe not next to you. Maybe not next to you.
Well, and we need to say that Larissa has a gift shop inside of her store, right? So
It's
until
not Country Pleasures.
until someone has another gift shop, go to Larissa.
There you go.
We have a gift shop.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we got one
I
too.
was gonna say, you're
Stafford's
so
out
good.
there too.
When you don't know what to get.
Yeah, you're covered.
I've been told I have to go visit you. My wife is wanting a chocolate covered marshmallow thing, you guys.
Oh, yeah, we got.
I know. We gotta find where you can get cookies to make the moon pie thing.
There's two
We're
things.
working on that.
Before
I
we-
know,
Before long, we'll be also.
good.
One, part of my homework was to talk to redo it and bring it to our table and how we could communicate, bring the two together and work together. There's quite a bit. Do you want to table that until next time? I know I can invite them in maybe to speak. They'd like to possibly have a discussion. However, I can bring it to the table. One question we had is we'd like to have the ability to have more than 4 events. We're limited by the city. One of those events was used by the Christmas parade, so that leaves us 3. So one of the things they want to know is, could that not be one of our events? So we still have the ability to have 4 others, so there's some questions that they have. Another thing, we've tried to bring back the Hoppa Bunny. We'd like to be able to maybe have the Hoppa Bunny present at other events that are going on, even if it's not a redo it and we're not part of it. Could the Hoppa Bunny jump into the car show and be part of it so that we bring the same bunny to all events? We pull things together as a community. Thank you, Martha.
You have to have
That's what I was looking for.
and
Thank
money
you.
to show up.
Well, I think you could just ask anybody who's having an event, can we have the Hoppa Bunny?
Right, and these are just things that I'm bringing.
Okay, no,
up.
it's good.
Communication, which we've already discussed. How do we have events? For example, when we decided we were gonna stay open late the 3 Friday nights, I started sharing that before any flyers got out, and they're like, well, why don't we know about this? Well, then there was the wine hop, there were flyers out, I didn't know about the wine hop, and I'm in both events,
Right.
David didn't know
It's
about it.
like-
I'm stuck in the middle thing, okay, well, we need communication for sure. Banners, we've discussed banners downtown before. Rob was actually willing to sponsor one. They're expensive and we could only leave it up for 2 weeks. Can we, if we're gonna go together as a community, I know you guys do one down here for the city. If we wanted one down there as well, is there any way to get them the ability to leave them up a little bit longer? Because they're expensive for a short period of time. So there's a lot, and there's more. Katie and I were at a meeting last night and there are several pages that I did not take time to fill out. I can do that and bring it to the next meeting.
This is good. You give us some items to look at. We talked about communication today. We talked about collaboration like with the Hop and Bunny today. So those were actually, germane to the discussion. The number of events, we kind of led with that, opening with it does cost the city. So there's, we'll have to look at the limit.
Yes.
The banners, I think, Donnie, we talked about this last year. We don't really have a space to do a banner on the other end of Main Street. We don't have the ability to. So we really only have the one place to put a banner at this time, because it's gonna be an expense. Someone donated that, I think.
That's the Exchange Club.
The Exchange Club.
Yeah, we'd have to look at it again and see.
We would have to all as a group, whatever groups consider
The
maybe.
banners are actually a great, I see that when I drive under it, I can see something's coming. They're a great advertising.
I love the idea of having one on the south side too. So let's talk this up, because we could probably get the community to come together and help get one of those established.
And then I do have one other question. Just not sure where this is going, but someone brought this to my attention in, I guess, maybe emailing the city. There was a response that the city, the council has a new downtown committee, so the direction is to have anything downtown related go to that committee for discussion. So is that true? How do people that are concerned about something in the city contact this committee so that they're addressed?
I haven't got any input like that.
Do you know what I'm talking about from last night?
I do know what you're talking about. So there was a project that was being worked on that somebody was following up on, and so when they inquired as to the status, they were told that there is now a downtown committee, and that under direction was that all inquiries regarding things had to run through the downtown committee.
I don't know about inquiries, but I mean, we're trying to set the stage for the future, but you still have the current versus what we're working on. So whatever the current rules
Well,
and
this is
regulations are.
basically the community. They had a question about trash cans. I'm trying to think what was on our table when we were talking about that. When they're emailing the city, this is the response that they got.
It was a lighting issue. They wanted to
Okay.
put lights across Main Street. And, they had a task force that had inquired, is my understanding. I wasn't part of this.
Neither was I.
But the response was, you will have to run it through the downtown committee now. You cannot contact the city directly regarding downtown.
Well, we are an extension of the city, so we're one and the same.
Yeah, but how does the public know to contact us?
Who do
I
they
mean, I'm
contact?
not giving my phone number out to the public.
Well, they can, well, just,
So if they're reaching out to the city and the city says, well, you gotta contact the downtown committee, well, how do you contact the downtown committee?
I don't think this is probably not correct information. So let's just say this is probably mixed up.
Okay.
It sounds like a complaint to me. Donnie, have you received anything in request that it went?
Henry and I are scratching our head. She gets every question under the moon coming through. We'd be happy to.
We would never
People,
send
we
it
would never
back.
say, it's gotta come to this committee. We can't answer a city related.
I don't think this is a true statement. So I would
We'd be happy to
check
talk to
that,
that.
where it
Send
came
that
from.
person our way. No,
Okay.
I won't give them that reply.
And if there's an issue or they're saying that's not true, have them come back and see me or Donnie and we'll answer whatever problems that they.
Or are they just looking for like an email so they could ask questions to the email for this committee to look at?
No.
I can't read mine.
Where to direct their inquiries because of
I think we should go to
It
the
was an
city.
email response.
Yes.
It sounds like a negative response to our committee, quite frankly. I don't like it.
Banners.
Yes, sir.
So I'm gonna file a complaint. Now I have a question. The military banners. What are the rules on those?
As far as.
That's a pretty broad question.
Well, like,
Can you narrow it?
okay, I was told that it has to be a local person in order to do a banner. My father was a lifer in the military. I've moved my mother over here now. I would love to put up a banner, but my father was never a resident of Porterville.
All of the,
I served our country for quite a few years, and it would be nice to put up a banner. I've been a merchant here in town forever, so it would be a nice way for me to put up a little tribute to my father. With my mother living here now, she would get a kick out of that.
Well, let's pull out the policy and just make sure we're following it. And let's get David an answer. It's a good question. I don't know the answer either.
I appreciate the city putting all the banners back in the same spots that they took them down when they painted the poles. That was nice.
Hey, we gotta thank you. Appreciate
I
it.
love the banner program. I mean, it's great to recognize these people for their service. But like I said, I was told that it had to be a local person on the banner.
yeah. I'll have to look at that and see the exact wording right now.
Clarify that.
Yeah.
All right, great comments. Anything else, Larissa? You might as well get it all on the table. We don't want to leave
Those
it.
were the two I had.
I love this idea of getting another banner down on the south side. We talked about it. Yeah, I think it's a matter of infrastructure. So we gotta.
I'm gonna say, what's the requirement for it? Because there's a cable running across from my building to Bank of Sierra. They're just sitting there. I mean, how heavy is a banner? What weights does it? What are the
Well, the
requirements?
one they have down here is on its own poles. I think there was some discussion about if you're connecting it to a building, you know, we'd have to get your building and the other building together and
See number
I'm
two.
gonna charge you, but no.
Like current or past resident.
You want the building to fall.
No. Well, I mean, how heavy is the banner?
You get my point?
Yeah.
I think we should recognize any military person. If somebody in town has a military family member and they want to recognize them, they should be able to put up a banner for them. But as you see the rule there, it says has to be a resident or current or past resident of Porterville. And I won't complain about the $250 fee.
That's what I was gonna say. If you're paying for the banner.
$260. Oh, for that $10, I'm gonna complain.
What gives you the right?
No, I don't think $260 is an outrageous fee.
Connie, there was a comment made that there's a potential area between Bank of Sierra and the vault to put up a banner.
Probably where we hang the garland. There's a couple that go across Main that we hang the garland from.
Correct. But how much heavier is a banner compared to the garland and lights? I don't know. I'm not an
Yeah.
engineer.
Can we explore that? Let's take a look at that. Great suggestion.
Yeah, there's about 5 of those.
Yeah.
And it would really help because if we could get one up there, then we can improve our communications and our downtown will have a front and a back. Now, will they buy 2 banners? Does that mean we gotta have 2 banners now for Easter and 2 banners for Memorial Day and 2 banners for Christmas? That's an open-ended
Yeah,
question.
I don't think they need.
It's a great question. We have 2 different banners. Advertising 2 different things. One could be car show, one could be parade. Who knows?
Well, let's open up the idea that we may be able to put one there and then we'll discuss further the consistency.
It could be a location. I mean, there's, like you said, there's 5 of them going across where we hang the garland. I just don't know the weight restrictions or anything else like that. I'm sure you'd have to have.
We definitely have, yeah, there's that. There's the top and bottom to keep it like taut, like that's what this one is right here. And we flip them to them. And there's a few things that we have to look for.
Do we? All right, any other questions as we finish our meeting today? Or comments, I should say.
I move we adjourn.
All right, we have a motion to adjourn. We have a second?
Yep.
All right, all in favor? This meeting is adjourned. Thank you guys for coming in.
Sorry.